Okay guys, we'll kick things off now. First of all, I'd like to welcome you all here today to the joint Alloy and Patton webinar. Before we do get started, we'll just quickly run through a few housekeeping rules. In terms of throughout the presentation, if you do have any questions, please fire them through via the chat and question panel on your GoToWebinar application. At the end of the webinar, we will have audio-based Q&A session. During that Q&A session, what I would like you to do is, if you do have a question, please raise your hand using the GoToWebinar application, and we'll get through to everybody one at a time. Okay, to kick things off, first of all, I'd like to introduce myself. My name is Scott Young, and I'm the Product Development Manager at Alloy Computer Products. And we also have Josh, the Smart Node Product Manager from Patton Electronics. And we also have Balvo, the APAC Sales Director, on board here as well today. Okay, today we'll be looking at the Patton SNBX IP PBX appliance. Today we have Josh, who will be running through a product overview and also some use and applications of the Smart Node IP PBX appliance from Patton. Okay, without further ado, we'll kick things off, and I'll introduce Josh to fire away.
Hey guys, thank you very much, as Scott said, for attending. We at Patton here are really excited about this new partnership we've been working on for about the past month and a half with Alloy. And I wanted to bring to you one of our newest products, which is our SNBX, or as we're calling it here at Patton, the SNBX. The SNBX for our Smart Node Branch Exchange. It's an appliance platform that is running Windows and the 3CX phone system. So free version of the 3CX phone system, which is going to allow you to very easily upgrade via the web and put on a 3CX license. So you'll be able to purchase that in bundles from Alloy as well along with this, so that you can create one purchase for everything you need. This box is capable of doing up to 64 simultaneous SIP sessions with transcoding. And this also includes the box doing RTP relay. So if you're familiar with the 3CX setup, that little checkbox that says the PBX will deliver audio. That's what this has been tested with. As far as the SIP extensions that can be registered on the device, it's been tested up to 500. I would expect it to be able to do more. It has a 250 gig hard drive, 4 gigs of RAM, so there's really not that much bottleneck when it comes to the SIP extensions. 500 was tested because using 64 simultaneous SIP calls, 500 is usually the high end of the use case. We have just run our pilot here at Patton on this device, and everything is going. We're expecting full release next week of this product. So just to give you a brief overview of what the product comes with right out of the bat, like I said, it's got that free edition of 3CX, which has some limited feature set. Like I said, you can see all this on 3CX's website. I'm sure your representative at Alloy is also going to be able to help you. They're very familiar with 3CX, and they can kind of guide you into what's right for your business or your organization. So the free edition that comes on the hardware already can do 4 simultaneous calls. It can't do recorded voice prompts. It has some limitations with the ring groups and conferencing, etc. But then the commercial edition, which also starts at 4 simultaneous calls, and then the 3CX platform does go up to 1,000. But like I said, what the Patton appliance, this SNBX, has been tested to is 64 simultaneous calls going at once. And then once you bundle that that commercial edition from Alloy and you install that on here, which is just copy and pasting a key and hitting apply, it is going to activate instantly, go online, register, and you're ready to go. So that's what's coming right out of the box. The X side on the SNBX. Scott, if you could give me the next slide. Look, your appliance. I'm going to go into a little bit more of the use cases later on, but I just wanted to show you that our goal here at Patton, as you know, we make our smart node, which is our voice over IP gateway. And so the SNBX or the SNBX is an appliance kind of to bundle. You know, you've got one vendor, you've got one channel, you're dealing with Alloy and Patton. It's someone you know, someone you trust. It allows Alloy to get this to you on hardware that's trusted alongside with the gateway. So our idea is to be selling these in bundles, but then sometimes a PSTN gateway, of course, isn't needed, in which case you can just get the appliance on its own. And our gateways range from BRI to FXO, FXS, PRI, etc. The SNBX and 3CX are able to support G729 for those interested, and are able to do half of the number of total sessions allocated in transcoding. But if you need to get a little bit more, or you need to have a little more diversity in which codecs you can offer, or you're going to the outside world, Patton does offer a range of products that can handle that transcoding so that it from your PBX. This can be if your SIP trunk provider is delivering something difficult on the SIP trunk, maybe it uses something like that. Our gateways can stand in the middle and couple this together as a complete package for a complete offering. Here's a look at the SNBX as far as what the hardware goes. This is a computer. We're not beating around the bush about that. And so you can see on the back you do have that VGA port along with an HDMI. You've got an audio and a mic and some USBs, even a digital optical fiber out. Really what's needed in this is only that power and then that LAN port. We've done a little bit of extra work and we've done our own WMI that sits on top of 3CXs so that you can do some remedial server type tasks like scheduling backups or changing IPs all directly from the web interface of this. So the idea is you get this box, you plug in power, you plug in LAN. You don't have to connect to KVM. Of course, if you've got a little more intense infrastructure and you need to, you're welcome to. You've got admin rights on this, pretending it's anything but a Windows box. But for the simple, fast installations where you want to be in, you want to set it up, and you want out, you port video and mouse. You can plug in the LAN port and power, and you can be ready to go. It's got a default IP address. It's got RDP configured if you do want to see the console. But then you can also, once it's logged in, just go to our WMI and you can do the remedial tasks. As I mentioned, you can schedule the backups so that they're being done regularly, and you can also change IP addresses, anything you might need to do. If you need to limit access based on the web server settings, if you want to view web server statistics, if you're worried about something attacking your box, you can see all that through another computer just through the WMI. So as I was mentioning before, you see here is a small screenshot of the SNBX and what the web GUI looks like. So you have this overall Patton web GUI which operates in a windowed architecture. If you guys are familiar, it's using a JavaScript subscripting language called XJS or EXTJS. What it allows us to do is it allows us to call different parts and bring it all in a very clean windowed managed system. So you have one tab open, but then inside that tab you can have the complete 3CX open. You can have your IP statistics. You can do some smart node configuration. Also, you have full access to the web server that's on here. We're using 3CX Advised web server, which is called Abyss, ABYSS. You can type that in Google and find out what its capabilities are. 3CX has done very extensive testing with it, and so has Patton when we decided to go to market using that. It has some major advantages over the tailored down versions of IIS on Windows 7. I'm not sure if you guys are familiar, but Microsoft has been adding more and more limitations to their workstation's capabilities. And so because of that, IIS had some session management issues that really just became inconvenient when trying to operate 3CX correctly. So we're using this third-party web server that's called Abyss. It works wonderfully. Inside this, you just have a tab to open up 3CX, to open up backup management, to open up your Abyss server, to check your IP settings and things like this. And as future development, other things that I as a product manager would like to see built into this is I'd really like some resource monitor utilization. As of right now, monitor your resources, ensure that you're not taxing your processor or your RAM too much, is going to be just through SNMP. So you can hook that up to any SNMP server because at the end of the day, it is a Windows box. And there's nothing too incredibly unique about that. We all have some Windows management experience. And so that SNMP is fully capable there in 7. You're going to see hard disk rewrite times. You're going to see hard disk usage. You're going to see RAM utilization and then CPU utilization as well. So the final thing I want to talk about is this Smart Node configuration tool. For those of you who are familiar with 3CX and Patton, you'll know that your 3CX can generate PSTN gateway configurations automatically. But if you want to bring in analog phones, the 3CX can't do that. So 3CX plans on adding that in future versions. So what we've done is, in the meantime, we've thrown one on our web GUI just on a separate tab. So what this does is it allows you to either upload a configuration or generate one automatically, and then this device can act as a provider to the smart nodes. So smart nodes have the option for DHCP66 so that you can specify an server to host configurations so that you have one place to manage your configurations, and then your smart node or your PSTN gateways, which is what the smart nodes are, will be constantly polling, checking for new firmware, and then checking for new configurations as well. So this box can also act as that, just giving you a little bit, one less thing you have to worry about when you're doing an all-Patton alloy solution. So when you're buying from the same place and you're bringing in the same manufacturer, things get a little simpler. And as I'm sure a lot of you guys are familiar with, 3CX is very compatible as far as which IP phones are supported. I know Yale Inc. is one of their good partners, but also Grandstream's been tested, Snelm, and many others. So there's not really a fear of interoperability here on either side. You've got the Patton gateways, which have full and complete extensive support, and then you've got quite a range of IP phones. So now I want to go into some use cases. This is going to be a pretty quick webinar, and then I want to kind of open it up for questions and answers at the end to see what you got in this. The web management that's been done at Patton on top of the 3CX is written in that XJS, which is an open source code, which means people are free to look at the scripts we're running and what we've configured, and they are free to make changes if people want to get complex. But the main message behind this is its simplicity. We're really trying to make an out-of-the-box, ready to go. Everything works. No more complications if the complications aren't needed. So here in the application overview, we have this single session. This is about as pure and simple as you can get. You have a SIP trunk coming in from the cloud. You have a couple users on your LAN. Maybe some of them are using soft phones. Maybe the rest are using IP phones. And everything's hooked up to the LAN, and everything just works with no issues whatsoever. This is going to be the simplest use case of the SNBX, just operating as a small office branch exchange. And here we have the branch office, something a little more common with what we're doing in the Patton space. So one big office with the really expensive soft switch, and you're opening a branch office. You don't want to tie everybody over. VPN connection's not so reliable. Maybe you're nearing your license use in your main office, or maybe your main office is still using legacy equipment. All the same, what you can do is you can put an SNBX, the SNBX, inside of your branch offices to manage the extensions that you have there, and then you can trunk back to your PBX or your soft switch back at your headquarters pretty seamlessly because of the 3CX interoperability. And then also you've got the Patton PSTN gateways. Like I said, if you're in a place where your internet's not so reliable, or maybe you just don't have the bandwidth to do everything over IP trunks, you can back everything up through the PSTN. The SNBX and the smart nodes are going to work together seamlessly, because that's what we've really designed them to do. We're trying to make this as easy and as simple for every one of you guys. So here, taking a look at another one that's a little more common, is this hybrid setup. So you're in an office who's got a legacy PBX, maybe they're using old BRI lines, or maybe they're just using analog, and they want to switch over. But you say, well, I can only give you 4 hours every Saturday and maybe a full day on Sunday, but that's it. I can't have my people down. I can't have my phone. You and capital expenditure limitation. And so you're not able to switch everything over at once. Once again, you bring in our SmartNode or PSTN gateways, and you bring in an SNBX to start to offload the users from that legacy to the IP world, so that the SmartNode is going to mediate between the legacy and the SIP, and it's going to create this hybrid setup, so that when the legacy PBX needs to call someone on the SNBX, on that 3CX platform, it's not an issue. One thing I'd like to talk to you guys about as well is our future plans going on. This SNBX, this little tiny box you see right here, which is VESA mountable, so you can put it on a wall, is just the beginning. What we're looking at next and where we plan to go for this, I don't have images yet, but I'm going to get them to Alloy soon, and we're going to start presentation as this becomes closer and closer to reality, is what we call the SNBX version 2, or the SNBX version 2. And this is going to be where you see this gateway and you see the 3CX appliance. We're going to start building them into a 1U chassis with an internal connection, so that it really is just one you don't have to manage. It's one more power supply you don't have to find. It's one more total cost of ownership that goes down. X would be completely responsible for all the management of that PSTN gateway, giving you an appliance where you have one thing to worry about. So that's our future of where we're going. This is in the early stages here at Patton. Like I said, we're just going full release next week. And so I'm really looking forward to hearing your guys' thoughts, maybe some things that you'd like to see on our roadmap, and any questions you guys have from the technical aspect. I'd be happy to answer them for you, along with Scott, who I have here, and then Balvo, who's our regional director here at Patton Electronics. So, Scott, at this time, I'd like to open up the floor for, do you have questions pending?
Okay, thank you very much for that, Josh. All right, let me quickly go over to the question panel. All right, guys, no questions at this point. Please do, if you do have any questions, please raise your hand. Okay, actually, we've got a couple of text-based questions coming through. So the first one from Sean is, options will there be with the SNBX?
Okay, the standard warranty option is going to be 1 year, and then it's going to be purchasable up to 5 years, like other Patton equipment.
Okay, so the same type of options as the SmartNode gateways.
Exactly right. And guys, I apologize. It looks like you were having some problems hearing me. I didn't see these messages till a little bit too late. I'm going to see if I can turn up my mic volume now.
Okay, we have another question from Lachlan. Is the product available as a white label? Can they rebrand it?
Right now, we haven't envisioned that, but that's definitely something that we can go into and explore the business case. Patton has done some white label and rebranding before with our gateways, so there's no reason to think we couldn't do that here if the business case is justified. And I think, Scott, maybe you and Bao would probably be better points of contact there initially.
Yeah. Look, Lachlan, what you can do, if you want to send me an email, and we can discuss that at all and what we can work out. Okay, next question we have from Matthew. Does the SNBX come with an SSD drive or a standard hard drive?
Okay, Matthew, right now we're shipping with a hard disk drive instead of the solid state, and that was one of the early decisions I had to make when we were designing this. The reason is because of the CDRs, actually. I found some problems reporting with people using SSDs when they're recording a large call volume in CDRs because their read-writes are so statically limited. Of course, there is the advantage of SSDs that they're a lot faster, which I didn't see the need for in my testing of the hardware that we're using. If you have specific need for SSD, maybe it's you need to increase maybe the vibration durability or something like that. It is something that is very feasible to do and something we could look into as well. I did pretty extensive testing on the hard disk drive and had no limitations. I guess the only other thing that might be a concern is obviously, as I mentioned, how fragile hard disk is. But I was more worried about running out of those read-writes in the SSD and then the size slowly shrinking and shrinking until people's units stopped functioning and they couldn't figure out why.
All right, thank you for that, Josh. All right, next question we have from David. This is in regards to some pricing for the product. David, what we're best doing is contacting Alloy for the pricing. I know that the SNBX was in the last Alloy price list. At this point, Alloy haven't put together any bundled pricing for 3CX and the SNBX, but it will be something that we'll be looking at doing in the near future. But at the meantime, please do contact your Alloy account manager and have a talk to them about the pricing. All right, have we got any other questions from anybody? Okay, so no audio-based questions. Any more text-based questions? Well, we do have Josh here
And of course, guys, if there's something you'd like to take offline with me and Scott, and they'll make sure that I'm brought in if needed. Patton stands right behind Alloy, and we're always there to support them if needed.
All right, one more question, Josh. One from Lachlan. Are they able to open the unit and upgrade RAM or hard drive?
Since it is just a PC, yes, it's not something that would be too technically difficult for anyone with basic A+ level understanding to do. Right now, it's shipped with a D525 processor and 4 gigs of DDR3 RAM and a 250 gig hard disk drive. It is possible to upgrade, but due to warranty limitations and stuff like that, I would be in pretty close contact with Alloy and then Alloy with us about what you need, and we can probably deliver something that fits your needs so that you're still covered despite any modifications you want to make to it.
Yeah, I think best bet is probably not to open it unless you want to void your warranty. So do definitely talk to us before you think about doing anything like that.
Right. So if there's certain specs you're trying to achieve, we're looking at this as the first of our appliance product line. So I mean, I'm expecting to see also tamed down versions, maybe with an embedded version of Windows that has a little bit less functionality, something like that. That way we can hit different price points. So if there's something you're envisioning, I'm really eager to hear what that is and how we can help.
Okay, we have another question from Ernie. How are the Windows security updates applied to the unit?
Okay, so right now the way the security updates are applied is they are downloaded and installed automatically and set to never reboot, so that you can initiate the reboots. And only security updates are being done. As you have full access to this Windows box, it is changeable. That's just how it leaves our factory. There is an SNMP trigger to be able to see when security updates not security updates, but updates in general are waiting for a reboot. I would like to envision as we go down the line more field at WMI, which also shows that pending. That's not available right now. If you're worried about the security updates, then make sure you have regular reboots being done. But you can always console into this through RDP or directly connecting keyboard, video, and mouse.
Thank you for that, Josh.
Yep.
All right, guys, any more final questions before we finish up? Another quick look through the panel. No one with their hands up. Any more text-based questions, anybody? All right, guys. Well, I'd like to thank you all for joining the webinar today. A big thanks to Josh. It is quite late where he is now, so it's great of him to jump on board and help deliver the webinar. Now, in terms of our next Patton and Alloy webinar, at this stage we haven't got one planned. I know we have been bombarding all of you guys with a lot of webinars over the last few months, so we've decided to give it a bit of a break. If you guys do have any suggestions for what you'd like to see in the next webinar, please do leave on the questionnaire at the end of the webinar. All right, guys. Also, if you do want to jump on our website, you'll be able to see what webinars we do have upcoming as well.
And one more comment I wanted to make, Scott. I do apologize about my mic audio. I have this webinar recorded, so what I'm going to attempt to do is try to boost that audio in the recording and then send that over to Scott, and he can make it available to anyone who might have had a hard time hearing me. My video editing skills aren't the best, but I think I can figure out how to boost the audio so it's a little clearer. I do apologize, guys.
That's fine, Josh. I've also got it recorded as well, so I'm
Fantastic.
sure we'll come up with something and we'll have it on the Alloy website no later than tomorrow.
Cool.
All right, guys. Thank you once again for your attendance, and we'll see you next time. Thank you.